Tis the Law has the lead at the top of the stretch. It is Tis the Law in front with 3/16 to the finish. Tis the Law has a 4-length lead. He's left the others behind.
Live from the backstretch at historic Saratoga Race Course, this is Racing Across America. Racing Across America is brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga. Just minutes from the track. The new Capital OTB wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with the new Capital OTB wagering platform. CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State. And the Clubhouse Racebook. Can't make it to the track? Make it to the Clubhouse Racebook. 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Racing Across America, coming to you live from the backstretch of Saratoga Race Course, right in front of beautiful Clare Court. I am Anthony Mormino on a gorgeous Wednesday, August 3rd, kicking off week 4 at the spa. I mean, I tell you folks, been coming up here many years, and today, I think once in the late 80s, August 3rd was opening day when it was a 24-day meet, but now it's a 8-week meet, one 8-week meet, 40 days, and we're already into our 4th week on August 3rd. So beginning of the first block here, we're going to show you a couple stakes races, all from at the spa. We're going to kick it off. I know it's a listed stakes race. I know it's a 1 3/4, a very atypical run distance in the United States, but just want you to, for me, I mean, the horse Fearless deserves so many accolades, but really, Luis Saez, this is the #1 horse on the familiar silks of Mike Rapoli, the New York Mets colors. What I want you to watch in this race that takes just under 3 minutes to run is how early Luis Saez begins working on Fearless and never gives up. And I think that allows the 9 to 10 shot to win Thursday's running of the Birdstone.
And they're off. Fearless and Lone Rock. And Lone Rock has the lead with Fearless on the inside and Sugar Ray 2 on the outside. At the back of the 2 grays, Original Intent and Portis. It is Lone Rock who has the lead here by 3/4 of a length. Longest shot in the field, Sugar Ray 2, right alongside in second. And the favorite Fearless is just in behind the front 2 and third. Then it's Original Intent and Portis. Lone Rock on the inside and Sugar Ray 2 on the outside. The two of them heads apart through 1/4 in 24 and 4/5 seconds, but we have a long way to go. As they come into the stretch here, it is a Lone Rock on the outside, Sugar Ray 2. Down at the rail is Portis, and then on the outside, Original Intent, along with Fearless. As they come past the fans in the stands for the first time, it is a Lone Rock, Sugar Ray 2, and Original Intent has made a move now on the outside. Fearless is in behind the front 3 and 4th, a 1/2 mile and 50 seconds as they go into the clubhouse turn. It is still Lone Rock who's maintaining that narrow lead. Lone Rock is in front. Then comes Sugar Ray 2, and on the outside, Original Intent. Portis is down at the rail, and the favorite Fearless is 5th now, about 3.5 from the front. 3/4 up in 1:15 and 2. So it is last year's winner, Lone Rock, who has the lead here as the field heads up the backstretch again. Lone Rock is the leader with Original Intent. Now moving up on the outside, and now Original Intent will challenge Lone Rock for the lead. Sugar Ray 2 has dropped back. Fearless now makes a move on the outside, and Portis is the trailer. It is Lone Rock on the inside, and on the outside, it is Original Intent. And those two are heads apart, with Fearless racing in third, now 3 lengths from the front. Then Sugar Ray 2 and Portis. And they're going around the far turn now for the final time. Lone Rock and Original Intent, and they are heads apart for the lead. Now they have 4 lengths on Fearless, who's being asked for more. Lone Rock by a head. Original Intent on the outside, and they're coming for the quarter pole. It is Lone Rock and Original Intent with Fearless in third, and they head for home in this 14-furlong marathon. Lone Rock is the leader. Fearless is down towards the rail and is coming on now. Original Intent out in the middle of the track. And now there's 1/8 of a mile to the finish. Lone Rock challenged on the inside by Fearless and on the outside by Original Intent. So there's 3 of them across. And here comes Fearless up the inside to take over. And Fearless will be the winner of this Birdstone Stakes. Original Intent got up for second. Lone Rock finished third.
And I know it's a $3.90 winner of a listed stakes race at Saratoga, but the effort by horse and rider, I think it's reasonable to say that Luis Saez was riding Fearless at the 7 furlong marker, and by the 4.5 furlong marker was earnestly riding him. Now, if you're watching the upfront horses, Lone Rock and Original Intent, and you didn't see what Fearless was doing, but I was watching Fearless, and I'm watching him at the 4.5 furlong pole, working. And then at the top of the stretch, I'm envisioning that the winners can be had, but I know that the Fearless has been working really from the 7 furlong pole to the 2 furlong pole for 5 furlongs. I'm like, how much more can he have left to run them down? So a testament to rider and horse that Fearless really just put in a tremendous final 7 furlongs of Thursday's Birdstone. So kudos to the connections of Fearless, and just a brilliant ride by Luis Saez. I cannot imagine how tiring that is. On Friday afternoon, a race they brought up a couple of years ago is for 3-year-olds, possibly prepping for the Traverse Stakes because it's the day before the Jim Dandy, but they restricted to non-winners of a sweepstakes. Creative Minister, who was off the Triple Crown Trail, was the 9-5 favorite in Friday's Curling.
And they're off. AP Secret and Make It Big. Those two go out for the lead, with a Golden Glider a close-up third as they go into the clubhouse turn. Getting over to the rail is AP Secret, who has the lead here. And then it is Make It Big, who is running in second. Followed next by Golden Glider in third, and the front 3 have opened up 3.5 lengths. Arturius has made his way down to the inside and in fourth. And then it is Be Better next in fifth. The favorite, Creative Minister, runs in sixth. Gilded Age on the outside is in seventh. And the trailer here is Western River in eighth. The quarter went in 23 and 4/5 seconds. AP Secret leading Make It Big here. Make It Big getting closer now to AP Secret, and the two of them are heads apart for the lead, with Golden Glider running in third, and Arturius is fourth, now just 4.5 lengths from the lead. Creative Minister has moved up into fifth, now about 7 lengths from the front. And then it is Be Better and Gilded Age. The half was run in 48 and 1/5 seconds, and they're going around the far turn. And it is still AP Secret and Make It Big, with Arturius gaining down towards the rail. And then on the outside, Golden Glider, followed by Creative Minister. Creative Minister looks to advance down at the rail. And the field is at the top of the stretch. Here comes Arturius, now up to challenge for the lead. And Arturius has now taken the lead as Creative Minister moves up on the outside. AP Secret is down at the rail. And in the middle of the course, it is Gilded Age. It is Arturius who's in front and has drawn away here. Arturius wins the Curlin Stakes. Gilded Age up for second. It was close for third between Creative Minister and AP Secret.
And there you have it. Irad Ortiz, Judmont Farm, Chad Brown, an impressive 4 3/4 length victory, second choice in the wagering returns. let's see, $7.40. The offspring of Airgate at a Polar Silver Lining. We'll see if the Travers is up next. I mean, the Travers is coming up very tough. They win a restricted stakes race. We'll see. Oh, it seems like the mic has fallen. Oh, let us recover that. Apologize for that, folks. The mic had a mind of its own there, but we'll see. The Travers is going to come up very tough here. So we'll see if a restricted stakes winner, who was very sharp going 9 furlongs, wants to take on this year's Travers Stakes. Saturday afternoon, Grade 1 racing, prep for the Travers Stakes. Also up first, perhaps the finest sprinter we've seen in a couple of years, Jackie's Warrior, who was 1-5 on the morning line. I haven't often come across that. Was 1-5 in the betting.
And they're off in the Alfred G. Vanderbilt handicap, and Jackie's Warrior came away in good order and is going out for the early lead, challenged on the outside by Doc Amster. Doc Amster and Jackie's Warrior, they are heads apart, and Doc Amster has taken the lead from the high weight and the big favorite Jackie's Warrior. Willie Boy is down at the rail running in third. Long Range Toddy is next in fourth. Then the gray New York bred, New York Traffic racing in fifth, knee deep in snow, trails the field in sixth. The opening quarter mile in 22 and 1/5 seconds. And now Jackie's Warrior moves right alongside of Doc Amster, and the two of them are together midway on the turn. Jackie's Warrior, the champ, on the outside. Doc Amster down at the rail. They've got a length and a half on Willie Boy, running next in third. At the back, New York Traffic, followed by Knee Deep in Snow. The half mile in 45 seconds, and they come into the stretch, and confidently ridden here by Joel Rosario. It is Jackie's Warrior who has the lead with 1/8 of a mile to the finish. Jackie's Warrior in front by 4 lengths. Knee Deep in Snow has moved into second. And Jackie's Warrior remains undefeated here at Saratoga, and he wins an unprecedented Grade 1 stakes at the Spa for the 3rd straight season. Jackie's Warrior, a true thorough.
Well, I guess $192,000 public paid workout for Jackie's Warrior. 1-4 officially in the wagering. Can't imagine that he broke a sweat under Joel Rosario, Steve Asmussen, the offspring of McLean's music. I think I read in the paper that Steve Asmussen was quoted as saying they have the Forgo at Saratoga, and the only bell left to answer for Jackie's Warrior in his 3-year career is the Breeders' Cup. I think he was the betting favorite as a juvenile, lost going 2 turns, and last year in the sprint, his only poor performance going 1 turn, but he is the defending sprint champion, and that was a tremendous performance in Saturday's Vanderbilt. Kudos to the connections of Jackie's Warrior. The co-feature on Saturday afternoon, not a Grade 1, but great interest in the premier local prep for the Travers Stakes, the Jim Dandy.
And they're off in the Jim Dandy Stakes. Early voting and Tony Port. It is early voting who will have the early lead going into the clubhouse turn. Tony Port is down at the rail. Zandon is up close today, and Epicenter will be the early trailer in fourth. It's the Preakness winner, early voting, who leads on the clubhouse turn by 2 lengths. Zandon is racing in second. Tony Port is next in third. Epicenter is the trailer about 5 lengths from the front as they head for the Saratoga backstretch after a quarter in 24 and 1/5 seconds. And it is early voting who shows the way here by 1.5 lengths. And stablemate Zandon is tracking in second. The longest shot in the field, Tony Port, is next in third. And Epicenter, the favorite, is fourth as these 3-year-olds continue up the backstretch. Early voting is the leader here by a little more than 1 length. Tony Port coming through on the inside now, right alongside of Zandon. And Epicenter continues to trail with less than a half mile to the finish now. The opening half went in 48 and 1/5 seconds. It is early voting going at a good pace here. Early voting is the leader here by a little more than 1 length. A good tempo for early voting. Zandon runs in second. Tony Port. And then Epicenter. It is early voting the leader here. Zandon being asked for more on the outside. 3/4 went in 1, 12-1, and they're at the top of the stretch. And it is early voting, challenged here by Zandon on the outside. Tawny Port is next, and Epicenter's out in the middle of the track. And now there's an eighth of a mile to the finish, and Epicenter is coming on now. And Tawny Port is rallying down at the rail. Here is Epicenter, and he's the center of attention now. Epicenter comes from off the pace to win the Jim Dandy Stakes, and he did it in 1 minute, 48 and 4/5 seconds.
And kudos to Steve Asmussen, Joel Rosario, and Epicenter. Last as they went up the backstretch, and it just seemed that Joel Rosario had a plan of attack. You saw him in about the 4-pack in the stretch. Just, I think, having the leaders measured. He was even money favorite, and he looked outstanding winning Saturday's Jim Dandy. And I have to think going forward to the Travers, we're probably looking at the favorite. Zandon for Chad Brown was up close early, held on for second. The early pace setter, early voting, making the first start since winning the Preakness Stakes, was second choice at 9-5. Faded to run fourth, but I think the Jim Dandy was all about Epicenter's return to the winner's circle after a couple of hard luck races in the first 2 legs of the Triple Crown. All right, turn our attention to Sunday afternoon. Up first, Turf Marathon in the Bowling Green.
And they're off. And from the inside, it is L'Imperator. And now moving up is Highland Chief. L'Imperator, Highland Chief, and on the outside, it's Cross Border. The front 3 have opened up 3.5 lengths on Arklow, who sits in 4th. Rock Emperor, the early trailer, in 5th as they go around the far turn for the first time. And it is L'Imperator. And on the outside, Highland Chief. L'Imperator is the leader, with Highland Chief tracking in 2nd. Cross Border is next in 3rd. Then Arklow and Rock Emperor. The opening quarter mile, 24 and 3/5 seconds as they come past the fans and the stands. And it is L'Imperator, the leader, 3/4 of a length. Highland Chief on the outside in 2nd, with the New York bred Cross Border sitting in 3rd. Rock Emperor, and now Arklow is the trailer as they head into the clubhouse turn. And L'Imperator continues to lead here. Ran the half mile in 50 and 1/5 seconds. It's L'Imperator, the leader, over Highland Chief. And then it is Cross Border, Rock Emperor, and Arklow. So positions are unchanged. Not much movement yet. They're on the backstretch with L'Imperator, the leader, by a half length. Highland Chief on the outside is 2nd by a length and a half. Cross Border, followed by Rock Emperor. Arklow is the trailer. They're midway up the backstretch now. 3/4 posted in 1:16 and 1. L'Imperator, the leader, right from the start, continues to set the pace here and leads by a length. Highland Chief and Cross Border giving chase 2nd and 3rd. L'Imperator now takes the field into the far turn. It's L'Imperator by a length, now by a length and a half. Highland Chief runs in 2nd. Then Cross Border, followed by Rock Emperor, and Arklow is the trailer. And now they're coming for the head of the stretch. L'Imperator trying to go wire to wire in this 11-furlong Bowling Green Stakes as they come into the stretch now. It is L'Imperator who's being asked for more as they come through the lane. L'Imperator challenged now on the outside by Rock Emperor. And then on the far outside, it is Arklow who is kicking in late. Rock Emperor has come away with the lead. Arklow driving on the outside. Rock Emperor to win it by a half length. Arklow close to be 2nd. L'Imperator was 3rd in the Grade 2 bowling.
Well, the favorite was nearly 5-2, and the longest shot was 9-2, showing the competitive nature. But Rock Emperor scores the victory as the nearly 5-2 favorite. Arklow, first start of the year, you saw a little traffic trouble up the top of the stretch. Irad Ortiz got to the outside. I thought a very, very good return to the effort races for Arklow in Sunday's Bowling Green. Also on Sunday afternoon, we had 3-year-olds prepping for the Grade 1 Allen Jerkins, going 6.5 furlongs in the Amsterdam.
And they're off. From the outside, Surfer Dude and My Prankster. It is Surfer Dude with a head in front, but there goes Pinehurst at the rail, and there goes Gunite. Pinehurst and Gunite are now 1-2 with Corniche. Racing in third, just off those front two. Papa Cap is next in fourth, and it's Accretive who's running in fifth. Down on the inside is Hoist the Gold in sixth. My Prankster broke well, but now back in seventh, followed by Runnin' Son of a Gun, and the trailer is Surfer Dude in ninth. The quarter, 21 and 3/5 seconds, a battle up front. It is Pinehurst on the inside and Gunite on the outside, and the two of them are right together midway around the far turn. Here comes Accretive as Corniche drops back in the field. Accretive has taken third, Running Son of a Gun on the extreme outside. And down at the rail is Hoist the Gold. They come off the turn and enter the stretch, the half, 44 and 3/5 seconds. It is Gunite. Accretive is all out in second with an eighth of a mile to the finish. Gunite and Accretive and Running Son of a Gun next in third, followed by Papa Cap in fourth. Here is Accretive right alongside of Gunite. Gunite is a tough customer here as they come on for the finish. Gunite won it by a head. Accretive was second. And the final time, 1 minute, 15.
And there you have it, a brilliant performance by Gunite, gutting it out. Well, my top pick, Pinehurst, beat one horse, and that was the horse the race went through, Corniche, who was the betting favorite, making the first start since the Breeders' Cup. Out of the race with an injury, we'll see how he bounces back. But Sunday's Amsterdam was all about Gunite, a big-time performance, so kudos to them. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, the Brooklyn Cowboy, Kevin Cox, joins us. Please stay tuned.
For 4 generations and looking forward to a 5th, Bruce Cerrone and his family have continued their 99-year tradition of delighting their faithful following with the finest authentic Italian recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Some things have changed in the last 99 years, but not Pinnell's commitment to the finest in Italian cuisine. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, just minutes from the track.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
Hello everyone, I'm Scott Vartley and I'm here at the West Condominiums in Saratoga Springs. And guess what? We are down to the home stretch. Everything is 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. Come make a selection of one of the greatest condos ever to be built in Saratoga Springs. We're starting in the upper 5s and the only rooftop penthouse available now under construction. Wow, just look at this patio. We have a rooftop pool, heated garage, balconies, and a gym. Call me at 518-281-6808.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Racing Across America, August 3rd, Wednesday, kicking off week 4 on a glorious morning trackside. We are in front of Clare Court. Now time for the middle section on Wednesday. We bring in the Brooklyn Cowboy, Kevin Cox. Kevin, good morning.
Good morning,
Any
sir.
crazy treks that we missed?
No, but I have one coming up.
What's the next one?
Back-to-back fairs in Maine.
Okay.
Skowhegan, of course you're familiar with Skowhegan, right?
Of course.
Right.
I've been to Maine once in my life and through Maine another time.
And Topsom. Back-to-back days. I'm actually sacrificing a couple of days here for that one.
Now, harness racing, the thoroughbred, the both?
Harness
racing.
The fair circuit is very, very fun. It's a very good
I
time.
agree with that. Like I said, we talked last time, when I was a boy, Great Barrington Fair, I didn't know it was a fair circuit because the other ones were too far away, but Great Barrington would run just about after this meet closed when I was a boy. Then I learned there was Marshfield, Northampton, and New England loves those fair circuits. But I always thought it's harness racing more than thoroughbred.
Yeah, absolutely. Out of all the fairs, if you ever were going to go to one, go to Freiburg. That's the granddaddy of them all. That's in the fall. It's amazing. And especially being a Brooklyn guy.
Do you have like a podcast or you have like a website? You're the king of
traveling? I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know. There's a couple of nuts out there like me. that
All
are
right.
making the rounds.
I'm kicking around the idea of, I've always wanted to go to state fairs because they're bigger events. I'm thinking about Timonium, the Maryland State Fair. I'm thinking
It's
about
Labor Day weekend up here.
No, but yes, it is. But I saw the racing days. I thought I saw like August 28th. I was wondering if that's like the Tuesday following the Travers. Zing, zing.
That's a little bit of a mission for me, man.
Okay, I'm big on missions.
But I tell you, these fairs, being a Brooklyn guy, they have all the 4-H, the animals there, and to me, that's fantastic. They have tons of bonds with different animals.
Wonderful.
Animals, real animals.
I understand. I understand. All right, we're going to take a look at a couple races. Race number 2, and walk us through your methodology and your thinking as you have a state-bred maiden claimer race going 6.
You know, originally when I looked at this race and wrote it up several days ago, I really didn't think much of it. But having to come up with 3 races for today, I did a little bit of a deeper dive here. And I ended up landing on a long shot, number 5, Mike's Little Diva. Several things stand out here. First of all, this is a 4-year-old running against mostly 3-year-olds, which still matters a little bit this time of year because I think a horse isn't fully matured until the 8th month of his 3-year-old year. Takes the biggest drop in the game. I don't think this one was really intended to win first time out down at Belmont for $75,000 because she was only bred for $2,500. So today's drop is probably really where she belongs. There was an early speed shown in the debut, and what we really like is there's a key race here. Truancy won the other day. Truancy came out of that race, and all 3 dirt starters to exit that race won next time out. There's a formulated stat in play here. Barrow with female second-time starters off breaks of less than 55 days. Getting Lasix, I always use with Lasix or without Lasix.
Okay.
Some trainers are precipitously better or worse with or without it. He happens to have an excellent stat in that regards, with 4 winners, 3 of them coming back double digits, and you're getting a good price here at 15 to 1.
And I think you're going to get all of that in there. Jose Lezcano gets the call back, and always interesting, like, your horse doesn't run very well, it gets beat a pole, they call you back up to take them out, and you take it. I'm like, okay, guess it wasn't, you know.
Well, sometimes they may tell the jock, listen, we're not attending much here, but
Right.
you know, she's going to be ready second time out. And when I look at those stats, Barrow is normally a 17% trainer, but he's 25% with the stats I listed. You kind of want the trainer to be 50% better with the stats than he normally would be on any given day.
And he falls into that.
And yeah, absolutely. And the second choice, the common choice, Glittering Prize, the 1A, hit the board last 2 starts, switches from Harkey to Sias today. That was clearly a trainer decision because Harkey is riding the other half of the entry. The barn is off to a good start at the meet, and this one has a good showing off the bench last year. And third choice is number 6, Force the Invasion. Another one taking the biggest drop in the game. Had a nice runner-up finish back in January at this level, and it came beneath Trevor McCarthy, who's on once again.
One of the terms that I just coined when you talk about firsters that maybe are not heck bent to win, it's just practice. I'm like, and you just have to be comfortable with the idea. I try and explain to my sisters that, like, not everybody's agenda is the same, and sometimes for the first race, it's like, go figure it out. Run amongst horses, get jerk kicked in your face, and, you know, we'll figure it out as we go ahead. But, you know, you have to understand that sometimes they're just there to run. I always say, if you give me at least a furlong and a half of skill, you show me you can run, that's all I need to be like, okay, there's something there. Maybe you're just not ready to go farther, but you have some speed in the tank. I believe race 5 is our next thought.
Yes, sure is. Let me flip over to that. 5th race is a turf sprint, yuck, but we actually only like 2 horses in this race.
Okay.
One of them should not be any worse than second. I always put in the column for all you place punters out there. You know, there are people that bet small and like to bet the place. We landed on the number 1A, flipping the page. Actually, the 1A is an MTO, Java Buzz. This one has done well here last year, so a little bit of familiarity with the melon. Had a nice placing with an adjusted buyer. We always adjust the buyers of 82.2. Shows 67 on the page, but we always adjust it for maturity, giving a horse a certain amount of points from the last time the horse ran to today. And if you look at the comment line, pinched and steadied at the start, has done second off the shelf today. And once again, there's a nice DRF formulator stat in play over the last 5 years or 60 months or 1,826 days. Linda Rice is 7 for 19 with turf sprinters who hit the board less than 63 days ago at this level at 8 to 1 or less. There's a subcategory of 1 for 2 right here in Saratoga, and the ROI is a healthy $3.19. And the obvious runner is the number 5, Sousa Summer. Should be no worse than second here. If you go back down on the page, the lone time this one went from 2 turns to 1. There was a lively showing behind 2 next out winners, and should be no worse than second. You're definitely going to get bet once again with Lescano at 2 to 1. And to round out the try, the number 6, Sil Faro, career best number was earned last time out. And the one time this one went from dirt to turf, there was precipitous improvement shown by about 21%. So should be able to move up off the most recent.
All right, before we get to your final race, were there any stakes race or any horses you want to comment that you saw recently over the last weekend? But the race I want to focus on first is Epicenter's Jim Dandy, and not only that, but going forward out of that race, your thoughts?
You know, that day, obviously Epicenter was very impressive, but I had landed on Tawny Port that day.
Okay.
And
got the run up inside.
I mean, that's one thing I saw. I watched the race multiple times. It almost looked like his hooves were hitting a part of the track that wasn't even harrowed. That's how close Tawny Port was to the rail. And I feel I would run that horse back. I would bring that horse back in the Travis. I don't know if they're going to do that. You know, I'm always trying to beat the favorite. And it's hard to knock what Epicenter did, encountered a little bit of trouble. But
were you surprised he was last as they head up the backstretch?
Not really. I mean, sometimes Rosario.
Isn't Zandon supposed to be there, and he's supposed to be where Zandon was?
Yeah, but Rosario is one of the best in the country. You know, it doesn't surprise me if he brings a horse back sometimes. But what really impressed me was Jackie's Warrior. I have never seen a horse under a hammerlock for that length of time, from basically the stretch to the finish line. Yeah, he wasn't facing much. I've never seen that in a Grade 1 in my life, to be honest with you. If you can remember a horse that was under a hammerlock in the Grade 1 for the length of the stretch.
There was a sprinter out in California a couple of years ago. I don't know if it was Roy H. maybe, and it was probably the Bing Crosby, which has become kind of run around the same time as the Vanderbilt here. And it was a short field, and once again, they were just overmatched. But the race, I tell people, and I know people are going to think it's bizarre, but because of the distance in the class, when Montjou won the King George, which I have said I think it is the greatest race in the world, he was in a hammerlock almost the entire stretch. Like, they didn't want him to win by too much in what I think is the greatest race in the world, just a dynamic performance. But Jackie's Warrior was even cooler, I thought, because you know, they ran like the 4 or 5 path. They just, you know, just literally steering around the course. And, you know, Steve said after the race, you know, the 4 go in the Breeders' Cup, and that's it. And that's going to be his career. And it's, you know, it's tough for sprinters to get in the Hall of Fame. And he does, in my opinion, he has to win the Breeders' Cup. He's going to be the sprint champion, but he has to win the Breeders' Cup.
I just asked your compatriot, Seth, over there, if this horse was retired today, does he make the Hall of Fame?
No.
Now, you think the horse needs to win the Breeders' Cup. Seth was saying, yeah, maybe, you know, and I think the horse needs to at least win one more Grade 1. I think you need a half a dozen to make the Hall of Fame. And if it happens to be the next race and runs a decent second or third in the Breeders' Cup, I think that cinches it.
Okay. Because I will tell you that for those of us old enough on this circuit, they would say Groovy is like the type of horse that his failing in the Breeders' Cup kept him out of the Hall of Fame as a sprinter.
Right.
Because his 2 years as a sprinter were unbelievably. If you ask the Bayer people before their numbers were public, his 2 races are 2 of the biggest numbers they've ever written back to back.
I think sometimes when we analyze this, we're a victim of the times, because the standards are a little bit lower than they used to be to get into the Hall of Fame.
Trust me, I am a believer right there. I am a believer, and I'm a voter. On to the 10th race you told me is your other thought. Love the race. I didn't have a big opinion, but I say it all the time. I love beefy sides fields going 7/8 because they get some time to get some position before they hit the turn.
That's my favorite distance in racing. And my favorite race is not the Travers or the Derby. It's the, I'll still call it the King's Bishop.
Okay.
I mean, I just love that distance. When we wrote this column, the odds weren't up yet, which happens so often. And if you note at the bottom of our column on Capital OTB, wherever you read it, I wrote flip-flop our top 2 selections because when the odds came out, our secondary selection was kind of close to the first one in how much we liked the horse, and the odds were much higher. So we ended up flipping to the number 6, Regality. Several things popped out here. First of all, from a trainer stat perspective, Jeff Engelhart is 4 for 7 with Saratoga-based dirt runners at this level. And he has a healthy ROI with $17 winners, 2 of them, a $13 winner and a $5 winner. There was a game showing in the lone second off the layoff attempt. And this is what we like to see. When entered for a tag, this one has 4 starts, a win, a second, and 2/3. And when not entered for a tag, 5 starts, no wins, no seconds, and 2/3. So you can kind of read into like trainer's intention there.
Yes.
Having this one in for. Always look for a trainer's intent. That's not what the horse wants to do. What does the trainer want to do here? And you're getting 12-1. Gomez is, below 10% for the meet, but he'll get prices a couple of times throughout the summer. And then our secondary selection. Go ahead.
No,
our second choice is the number 11 Cathedral Beach. Hasn't been seen in a couple of months. Has done well in breaking from an outsidish type slot. Weaver kept this one downstate at Belmont. For those not in the know, not every trainer has all their horses on the grounds. It has to do with how much help they can get up here, which can be a problem at times. And they just leave half of their stock downstate. This one is shipped up from Belmont off a really nice Bullet Breeze back on the 15th of July. Once again, look at trainer stats with certain categories. This one is up for sale for the first time. And Weaver is 4 for 6 when doing that with his dirt stock off layoffs of 51 to 71 days. And there's a subcategory of a perfect 3 for 3 at this level. So this one definitely makes sense, draws well. And our third choice is another drop down, Brajol. Yay, forget about it. This one
actually one of my least favorite Italian dishes.
Yeah, it is. Something my grandfather would have liked.
That's the generation that loved Brajol.
This one has dropped 9,000 below the price claim from 2 starts ago, which basically means all systems are going to be go to at least get a second, if not a win. Front wraps were added last time out. I don't know enough if Noda puts front wraps on all his horses. Some trainers do, especially trainers that train a lot of claiming horses. The stock goes up if the front wraps are removed, and you're going to get a price with Sam well aboard.
Yes, you are, especially after the mount on steerage the other day in the finale. So, who was probably best? I think the Lincoln assassination might read briefer than the trip note on steerage in the finale the other day.
Not that you would understand this reference, but that ride reminded me, well, not that you would appreciate it, that ride reminded me of George Costanza trying to get the Frogger machine across the street.
You're correct. I do know who the character is, but that's as far as I would go. Jason Alexander, that is a Seinfeld analogy, which I have no idea of. One quick question, because you enjoy Formulator. And I think the first time we worked together, I said, to me, it's the ultimate rabbit's hole for me because of how much I love stats. I just can't get out. I could spend an hour on every race. I love the stats so hard. Have you, not modified so much, but have you learned to be more efficient or what you're seeking, and it takes you less time now using Formulator than maybe when you first began?
Well, it takes less time in the regards that you have, how can I say, not muscle memory, but mouse memory, where you know exactly when you go into certain categories on the formula page, you're already setting up when you're flipping the page to, so to say, flipping to the next page to have your cursor in the right spot. So I could basically bang that out.
So you're like Mozart with the mouse when it comes to
Pretty much, but like you said, jumping down the rabbit hole depends on how much time I have to write the column. And
yes,
when you come up with these stats, if you went to any of these trainers and said, "Hey, the Cowboy says you're 4 for 6 with first time off the claim dirt stock, 51 to 71 days," we would be like, "Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm gunning for."
Yes.
It doesn't work like that. Trainers don't think that way, but sometimes they have certain muscle memory of their own where they instinctively do the things that have worked well for them in the past, but they don't think about it, they just do it. Yeah. And it works because I've beaten the takeout just by using the formulator.
That's a tremendous job. I think it was, when the sheets, first became somewhat public, and some of the trainers, claiming trainers particularly, they loved them. They worked off the sheets. They believed so much. And that was something new for them because they just trained horses. But then they realized, oh, there's patterns out there that are reliable.
Right.
Even if it's, you're unaware of, you're doing it, but you do it successfully. And, this never, about the only one I think trainers are completely dialed into is how well they do with firsters. I think they're aware of, and I think they would probably tell you, like the guys who don't do it, they'd be like, well, my program doesn't have them ready to run well the first time out.
Right.
So they're aware of that, but you're right. Go to George.
Sometimes the second time starter category is more important than first because it goes by trainers' intent first time out. And definitely utilize, if you're on formulator, that with Lasix, without Lasix category, because there are trainers, great trainers, who are lousy without it.
Big discussion, Lasix in the game, and very understandable. All right. Thank you very much, Kevin. Have a great day. It doesn't get much better than this. Now, when are your sojourns? Is it this week before I see you again that these fairs are in play? Or
I'm actually
is it in flux?
I do a big lobster fest in memory of my father every year, invite over 8 guys, and normally it's on his birthday on August 13th. This year we moved it up to the 10th because it'll be the 13th and the 14th. Weekend racing days where I'm going to be making that mammoth drive to Maine. Sweet Jesus. Oh my God, is that a long drive? It's just...
Says somebody from Brooklyn. Me, I'm like, it's like 3.5 hours to the state line. What's that? But Brooklyn guy, that's a long drive.
But my father, he was always into me traveling around, so he'd be happy I'd be making it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back to take a look at some of the ROIs kicking around the meet so far.
Set now for the juvenile fillies, to 14 of them across the track. Here's Sent on their way. And the dance on the outside, broke a little sideways with Pro KK, but meanwhile it's going to be stopped. But running on now, and Somali Lemonade's got 8 to make up. They come to the top of the lane. Stop Shopping Maria's got a lot left. Stop Shopping Maria goes on. Sweet Cat is right there. Hard not to like. Royal Body is running on. Past the 8th bellway comes. Stop Shopping Maria for the run. Still under a hand ride as they come to the 16th. Stephanie's Kitten coming out late. Here's Stephanie's Kitten coming fast. Stephanie's Kitten. Stop Shopping Maria. Stephanie's Kitten's walled.
Watched her chances, broke smartly, but so did Terra from the Cape. On the inside, Sky Lantern, the grey going well. If he can get through, Sky Lantern, the grey looking for somewhere to run. Wide open. It's Terra from the Cape hanging on. Terra from the Cape tries to go all the way. On the outside now, here comes Flotilla in the light blue. Flotilla is absolutely flying. Watch the chances in there too. But Flotilla has gone right on by. And Flotilla is coming home to score. Flotilla has won it just about 2 in the end. It'll be Watch the Chances, Summer of Fun coming on to finish third.
welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Racing Across America, coming to you live from Clare Court on the backstretch of Saratoga Race Course on a beautiful Wednesday morning. If it's in the hopper of ideas of coming to the races, even for just a couple of races, it is glorious out here, and you should come. It's a beautiful day. The temperature is outstanding. I know it's supposed to get a little toasty. I think it's tomorrow. So that might be a little bit of a reach, but I'll tell you one thing. I mean, I wear a jacket inside, doing the show, and for years did trackside. But one Travers Day, I want to say 07, the heat index was supposed to be about north of 100, and got Bob Kovacic at Channel 13 let me know that. So he goes, Anthony, it's going to be really warm for about 5 straight hours. I changed it to flip-flops and shorts and a light golf shirt, and I got to tell you, it was fine in that attire. Not so fine in this attire that I'm wearing today. But we've been, as per usual, keeping the statistics of this meet and Del Mar and others, but we're concerned with Saratoga. We're through 3 weeks, so we'll take a look at some of the trainers and some of the jockeys and some spreadsheets that I made, and luckily with the guys at Capital behind the scenes, they've walked me through how to send it to them in a legible way. We can put them on the screen. So I think the jockeys are up first, and they're probably in some type of descending order. And I have to shrink it next time for you. Is it possible? Well, it doesn't. What I've done with IRAD in particular is I have also sorted it for trainers. So you see Chad and PLETCHER, Maker, Cox. I mean, they all know who can ride. Phil Serpi's firster. And as I pointed out before, if it's just in green, he was the chalk. The white on black is second choice in the wagering, etc. And you see with IRAD, and it's all, it's the bettors. We all recognize he has supreme talent. He's on live horses, and he's getting the job done. I think if it's not possible to show it, I'll just let him know. I know, and this is no fault of his doing, but his ROI is in 108 starts, 22 wins, it's $1.40. So that's not his doing. That's the fact that's our doing as a general public. He's had only one horse, only one of his winners was outside the top 3 wagering choices. So it's going to be very difficult. He's having an outstanding year, but from a betting standpoint, he's a very well-known commodity, and it shows in the betting windows. Up next, I'm thinking will be Joel Rosario. I apologize, guys. I unfortunately had a busier Tuesday for all the wrong reasons that I'd like. So there's Joel Rosario. And now that these races are getting more, I'll shrink it next week, guys, maybe down to 90%. But you can see Joel Rosario, handful of favorites in there, couple of stakes victories. I think that's 6, 7 for him. So having an outstanding meet in that regard. And let me click on his return for us, but it's a very healthy one as he has been having an outstanding meet. You can also tell, you see his prices. He's got the $26 horse. He's got the $18 horse. He's, going in good shape. His ROI, 76 starts, 17 victories, and you can see by the first horse, a $20 winner, bottom horse, $25 winner, is $2.28, which is outstanding, under any circumstances. But you're talking Joel Rosario, one of my favorite jockeys over the last 10 plus years. So he is riding great right now, and he's gotten in at least 5 price horses, keeping his ROI very healthy. Talking about healthy ROIs, Luis Saez should be next, and Luis is in the same boat. Luis Saez has 16 wins from 95 starts, and his ROI, as you can see there, is 223. And you can see it's sorted by the trainer. So So he's got a couple with Todd Pletcher, a couple with Mike Maker, a couple with Jimmy Bond. He had the firster capture the flag, the firster really good. And just a couple notes here for you also. You see Fearless in the Birdstone. 14 is the Furlongs. The reason there's a color there is the racetrack was labeled as good. For Domineer, that he won, that was a muddy racetrack, so you see it white on what is brown on my spreadsheet. But in almost 100 starts, Luis Saez cruising along at a very healthy $2.23. And now one others I want to show you. This shocked me. Javier Castellano. Only 42 starts at the meet. 11 wins. And look at the bombs he has had. Robin Sparkles winning the Caress at 20+1. But I don't know if I was more surprised by how few starts Javier has had, basically winning at better than a 25% clip. But a positive return on investment of $2.19. Only 4 favorites in there and 2 second choices. But that 38 and 31, those are 7th choice in the wagering. Outstanding by Javier Castellano. And what surprised me, as I said, very, very limited mounts at the meet. Now we'll go to the trainers. Easy to know where we're going to start there. Chad Brown, 15 wins, 63 starters. And even though it's Chad Brown, $2.26 for him. And you see appraise. So that means the orange on black, just like the Santa Claus, means it was the 7th choice. The slant or the italics means appraise was the longest shot on the board. And as of now, only 6 favorites, but 5 second choices for Chad Brown in his 15 winners out of 63 starters. Local boy makes great. Chad doing outstandingly, but you can also get a price on his horse. Up next, Hall of Famer Todd Pletcher. What I did with Todd was I filtered them on the right-hand side as the prices. So you're looking at all those favorites, and of course, impulsiveness was the back half of the early double with appraise. So impulsiveness is basically carrying the ROI for Todd Pletcher, beating the breakage, the $40 for impulsiveness. But you see Todd Pletcher's horses, unlike Chad's, when you compare them, absolutely dominated by the bettors, where, let's do a quick count here, 8 of his 12 have been the chalk, 2 second choices. So if it wasn't for impulsiveness, the ROI would be anemic, but we're not surprised when it comes to Todd Pletcher. I just think the surprising thing is Chad Brown, how well his ROI is doing. And I think is it Christophe Clement or Mike Maker up next? I know it's one of the two. So here's Christophe Clement, who is $2.02. Great job there. How I filtered his, you see the 2 with Javier Castellano, and then you see the 4 with Joel Rosario and his New York bred City Man winning the Forbidden Apple. I think that was the first Friday of the meet. That $26 is helping the ROI for Christophe, who has had 9 wins in 40 starters, so the meet going very well. And then I think last but not least, we touched on him on the handicappers report, is Mike Maker. And Mike Maker going along that he won the first race of the meet with Royal Tryst on the dirt, the 2-turn race to kick it off. That is his lone dirt race win. And you see either the letter I following the number or F. That's inner, or the outer is the F. As you can see, the rails have been up throughout the meet. I mentioned this started years ago. I expect one of them to come down probably on the day before the Travers, but I have kept that data. And you see Mike Maker using Luis Saez on 5 winners, only one of them, two of them, excuse me, in the top 3 choices. But I use the rail settings because of, and I don't put it in the trainer stats or the jockey stats because it's not as pertinent to that, is the timing mechanisms. I think I've talked about it very often. I think it's accurate. I just would not wager 1/10 of our son's college trust fund on the timing mechanism when the rails are up. That's just me. You're free to do what you please, but to me, you've seen some times posted. I even heard John Embrial say the time has been posted of such and such. I don't remember if it was the Bowling Green when they went 50 and change, but I've always felt in the 21st century we can do better, but it's not my call. So that's why I have a column that talks about the rails being up, and so far they've been up for all of our races. I want to thank Danny and Dino because they do the legwork, and obviously I have to improve my spreadsheets a little more so they're on the whole page for you, especially as these jockeys start winning near 20 races a week. Looks like we're good with trainers for a while, but you see Luis Saez and Joel Rosario doing great, not in the win column, but in the money column, which I think is more important. You have Mike Maker, Christophe Clement, and Chad Brown. You know, it surprised me with Chad. I mean, I end up selecting these horses 2 or 3 times a day, it seems, that he has a very healthy ROI. So, you know, just keep a look at that, seeing trends. You know, the Mike Maker one's pretty easy. We knew he was a good trainer, but Luis Saez seems to be his go-to guy at the meet. That could change on a dime, but we don't see why because Luis is riding terrifically. So if you get a chance, today is going to be a great day at the races. Might be a little warm tomorrow, but if you get a chance, come on up the Northway. I know some come down the Northway, but most of us come up the Northway to come to the racetrack. Enjoy day 1 of week 4, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great day at the races. Thank you.
For 4 generations and looking forward to a 5th, Bruce Cerrone and his family have continued their 99-year tradition of delighting their faithful following with the finest authentic Italian recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Some things have changed in the last 99 years, but not Pinnell's commitment to the finest in Italian cuisine. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922, 284 Jefferson Street, just minutes from the track.
I can do that legwork, and it's a couple clicks for you guys because that's all she do.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off-Track Betting.